Intro's done. You said nothing. Why do you do this, bro? Honestly, insane. But hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Frustrating performance to say the least. I don't know what was happening in the first half. Grew a couple more gray hairs, to be honest. Wasn't pleasing on the eye, wasn't making any sense. What was going on the pitch, getting bodied left, right, and center. Wasn't any easy watch, but Jacob, if you got scared, bro, don't be scared, right? The game, man. The moment I thought about the game, it fucking pissed me off. But here we go again. One man savior job. Although it might be a little harsh on Lucas Vasquez, who had the balls to actually try a shot from distance. Quite a few people did, but to do that at the end of the game, it takes some shouldering of responsibility, to say the least. But yeah, man, welcome esteemed panel, Jacob, Farouk, and Mo. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Who should I come to first? Mo, be our guest.
I just sent you a message. Don't involve me for the first 5 minutes. I have I guess they're testing out the siren system outdoors and everything. So
Oh, fair. If you want to give a quick little tidbit.
no, I'm fine. It's okay. You're asking about the game, man. Yeah, it was decent. It was Getafe. What do you expect? I'm glad we survived this terrorist attack at the Bernabeu.
Surviving was the primary objective. I completely agree. Because at times the tackles didn't seem football like. Farouk, man, fellow Milanese / Nigerian / Turkish. I don't know, so many ethnicities in one. But
yeah, man. I mean, the thing that with the game was, it's so funny. I was saying to the guys earlier, like you watch Getafe and you feel so infuriated that you kind of appreciate what both the lads and Getafe are doing. Like honestly, like it's like an art. Like we finished the first half with 9 fouls to Getafe 7. I mean, come on. Everyone who saw the first half knew that, just guns and knives were missing there, honestly. So it's like, it's so interesting, honestly, like the way they keep doing this over and over and over again, honestly, like, as, more rightly said, like, you're just glad that, you're done with this and you're past it, you don't have to do this again, at least for the next 6 months or so.
Like all the great depictions of, mafia who break all sorts of rules, there's a method to how it has to be done, and Getafe is sort of the one of the prime examples, especially in this era where defending like that can really go hairy, like if you don't do it right, Atleti has learned it the hard way. So many teams down the years has learned it the hard way that they have to be a bit more expressive to at least get some fanfare for what they're doing. But Getafe, I think, completely has embraced their upturn in form, and their close stay with relegation has given them enough belief to return back to their roots and what worked in the first place. But Jacob, first game back at the Bernabeu, this wasn't the way we intended this to pan out, did we?
I mean, I think it was exactly the way we thought it would pan out. Somehow getting the goals and then expecting like a former Madridista to score as well.
Oh yeah,
always happens.
100%.
But then I did not expect us to look this toothless in attack, like especially the first half. And then I'm just so glad we got the 3 points, man. So glad.
100%. Toothless is a word that we are going to repeat, I feel like, for large parts this episode. But big up every single one of you who are tuning in. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We are on the road to 2K. Well, where do we begin? Also, friendly reminder before we get into breaking down the game. If you haven't voted for us already, the links are in the description below. We have been nominated in 2 categories at the Football Content Awards. one for the best international podcast, and one for best content creator international. Um, if you haven't voted already, please do so. There is also a link for people who don't have Instagram. You can just go down the browser route and type in our name in the international categories. It's simple as it, literally take 2 seconds. It would mean the world to us.
And you just
Right.
have to vote in our categories. You don't have to vote in every category.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Um, so the game began frantically, to say the least. One thing that I liked about how we set up, even though I lost any clue about how the formation was, midway through the first half, because I was struggling to find a consistent pattern in how we, were, especially, out of possession, how we were out of possession. But it was frantic, and we looked up for the fight. Getafe always were gonna, bring guns, daggers, swords, fucking
Katanas.
tankers,
Yeah.
katanas, you name it. They're gonna bring all of their weaponry in full flow to actually frustrate us and make life difficult for us. And we were up for it. But the funny fact is, even though we were up for it and we were giving back whenever we could, it was a give and take, which was nice for once. But the goal completely took our mental. Uh, it completely tested our mental fortitude, man. Like I couldn't believe it. Seasoned veterans, Modric losing their shit, Alaba losing their shit, Jude Bellingham, who looked like nothing could phase him, until last week. He looked lateral. Rodrigo looked frustrated for large parts. I can't imagine why this happens, even though they know well and truly that they're going to be facing a team in Getafe, and they just saw it a couple of weeks ago, opening game of the La Liga campaign against reigning champions. They put up a similar performance, and Barcelona completely gave their head in and lost Rafinha to a stupid challenge. Thankfully, we didn't do that, but still, it was frustrating to watch. Man, honestly, they surely have seen hours of video footage of what these guys do, and yet they fall prey to it. I don't understand why it happens, but that was something that irked me for a while in the first half. But let's talk about the goal, man. What better place to start, or worst place to start? Who should we put the blame on first, Farouk?
I think it was a heavy pass from Fran Garcia for the first goal. I think that's the a simple pass there to Alaba, and that's catastrophe could have been avoided. So I kind of think the pass, obviously, like you might want to talk about the two players going for the same header in the just the play before that, but I kind of feel it was a really simple pass from Fran Garcia that he totally messed up. So I would say if you're gonna lay a blame, I think I would look no more than Fran Garcia honestly for that first one.
Mo would think differently, I guess, because we were having a back and forth. I think towards the end of the first
And
half or at halftime.
the back and forth wasn't about this one. It was
Wasn't about the goal, but in general, Fran Garcia's performance. But
Yeah, it
touch
was
upon this as well to start it off.
I think Farouk is right when he says that it was a heavy touch and the ball got away from him,
Mhm.
and he wasn't. I think this is something that has been recurrent about Fran's performance, like since the start of the season, because I think he's having trouble combining with other players. If you notice, because even when he's going forward, the coordination with Vinicius isn't there. Like when they're attacking, Vinicius is almost like occupying the same spaces that he wants to, or something like that. And then I feel like that whenever Fran is playing, he's like, he's conceding ground to others.
I
He's
had an
he's almost.
observation. I had an observation more like, sorry to interrupt you, since you mentioned Vinicius, right? Like when he inverts, he's not comfortable at all. I feel like Fran.
I mean, Fran. For me, the issue with Fran right now is the fact that he seems hesitant to display his own game.
Mm.
He's like he's conceding too much to others, and letting them play while being respectful. So I think he's not being free on the field. So that's my issue with his performance on the goal. I think, yeah, it was the same thing. He's being too hesitant on the ball, if I may say that. And I think that led to the heavy touch, because these heavy touches happen when a player is not confident enough. And Fran, like, we've already seen him play in La Liga for like 2 years already, so he's not like he's some shit player. But I think the situation, the pressure is getting to him. The pressure of playing for Real Madrid, coming back and everything, that's what's getting to him. Because if you guys remember when we played the first game of the season, he had the same issues against Bilbao in the first half. Issues combining, issues with poor touches and everything. But once he gets that off his head, it suddenly starts flowing again. So for me, even in this half, he created 2 chances, and especially the one he gave for Joselu, he took the initiative on that one. So I think that's the difference. He completely ignored everybody around him and decided that he's going to play his game. So that was when the best of Fran Garcia came forward. So, but in the occasions where he messed up, I think he's being too timid, and he's giving, he's letting others decide how he plays. So I think that's something that's really lacking for him.
Jacob, do you think that's the case? Heavy pressure on someone, who is bought in on a low fee, but yet given a starting mantle that maybe has been a little too quick, not given enough time to transition in, maybe.
I feel like, he played like a lot of games in preseason as well. For me, he hasn't looked too bad, man. Yeah, he has his nervy moments, but then he does at least once or twice in the match. He does better than Mendy, at least in the attack. He goes to the byline. It's not always a pretty cross that he puts in. The players aren't there sometimes, but then I feel like if he keeps doing these things and he grows into the role, I feel like he can be much better than Mendy, useful for us, especially in La Liga.
What's frustrating for me is his erratic passing, man. I don't
there
understand why it is so frequent.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like settling into.
I'll just say this, that he actually misplaced passes less than almost everybody else in the field.
Yeah, today, like,
But
there are
whenever
so many
he
other
lost
worst
the ball, I was fucking panicking though.
He like I remember the one missed pass is probably the one for Alaba, and probably the others came in the final third. And I think the final third missed pass is the issue of lack of combination with others.
I remember him losing the ball in midfield as well. No, not just the final third, but it's just me. Like I found it very concerning. To be honest, that's why I mentioned
I mean,
it.
we probably have to go and watch play by play to decide that he lost the ball here, he lost the ball here, he lost the
No,
ball
but I
here.
remember
But
when
the
you said
sense, for me, the general sense is the fact that he lost the ball
for
4
me,
times this match,
for
right?
yeah,
In this
but
game.
for me, he
One
has
of
to
them is like,
up his distribution.
Let's get to the issue, right? The issue at hand is the fact that he's not combining well with others, and I think that's probably the reason why Ancelotti took him off. And that combination is only going to come with repetition, otherwise not coming. Because even in the preseason, we were talking about this, and I said like reports from the training were the fact that he was having trouble combining in tight spaces, and I think that's something that we're seeing again. So let's see what happens. When Vinicius was playing, I was not entirely convinced by his thing there. So even today with Rodrigo, he seemed to struggle a little bit. But let's see, give him time.
Well, guys, I mean, for me, I kind of feel like the problem we have with Fran Garcia is that Fran Garcia is like, he's a Moroccan fullback who always likes to go up, you understand? But the point is that with the formation we're playing right now, you're asking natural wingers to become inside forwards, right? So the problem is that even we saw today with Rodrigo, like, he tended to drift to the wide more than he tended to come inside. So I think this is more about a problem of what system are we playing? Like, what role is this inside forwards? Are they inside forwards or are they are they wing backs, honestly? Because the point is, obviously,
Rodrigo had a free role, Farouk, just to put it out there.
But he was shifting a lot to the right, no? Or did I see something different? I noticed that he was moving a lot to the right.
He was moving all around the place, in my opinion.
He was moving all the right to the place, but he was moving a lot to the right.
Rodrigo was occupying the left wing. Carvajal was the one who was playing on the right.
Ah, sorry, I meant the left. Sorry, like the right was empty.
Jude was he was moving like a little bit more free.
Yeah, I mean, literally, he was playing on the left, like Vinicius's role. So, like, he was like, moving mostly towards hugging the touchline. For that, I think like it kind of, takes away from what Fran knows and what he has been doing for the past 2.5 years. You understand? So, because of that, I think it's maybe not just even about him needing time to adjust. It's just about the fact that the team also needs to be able to provide him a platform to also succeed as well. You understand? Because the point is, if he's occupying the same positions as Rodrigo is occupying, then there is no, there is almost nothing he can do. Only the other option is to to become an inverted fullback, which he's also not comfortable doing. So I think this is also something as well. Like, it's not more of on him. It's also on the on the dynamics of the team as well.
Fair.
No, like to
I
be
guess
honest,
that-
okay.
That's just the thing about it. We're playing our fullback to almost invert inside, right? And then we're bringing Fran Garcia, who's known to be attacking midfield, attacking fullback on the wide side. The issue is, like, we know what Fran is. We've always known what Fran is. Fran isn't somebody who I expect to go on and become a starter at Real Madrid, right? His ceiling is probably somebody who's always going to be a substitute. But then we had another player who could have done this role better in Miguel, and Ancelotti completely mismanaged him and almost ran him out of Real Madrid. So that is something that really frustrates me. But it is what it is. I don't know. Next season they're talking about bringing this guy and that guy, but with Real Madrid in the transfer window, you never know what happens.
Let's not utter the word transfer window. Yeah, let's. I've been that from my dictionary. It doesn't even feature in the fucking glossary anymore. Yeah, thank fuck for that. But right, moving on from Fran, I guess we have a combined consensus that the system might not be particularly being catered to his strengths. But for me, man, good players, great players. You said it yourself, Mo, that his ceiling is probably
I mean,
way
this isn't something
lower.
that I'm saying right now. This is something that I've always said, right?
We all know that. But
somebody who's going to be the starting fullback for a Champions League winning team, right?
100%.
At best,
But he has actually improved his levels.
His good
over
qualities,
the last couple of
his
years.
good qualities from the time at Castilla have always been these. The fact that he started off as a winger, we always expected him to have good attacking output. The guy is somebody who's going to run up and down the flank. That's what you expect from him. For us to expect him to be an inverted fullback playing with high IQ isn't something that you can really expect. That was the guy that Miguel was, but Ancelotti did what Ancelotti did.
So you're literally saying he's just an athlete running up and down, headless chicken.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a headless chicken, but he is what it is.
The Miguel hype, man. Can you? Because
And
I don't
he's
watch.
starting for Girona. Girona is like one of the best teams in La Liga.
I don't watch. I don't watch Girona much, but I've heard they play good stuff. But if he is that highly touted, then why isn't a big club moving in for him? Is my question.
He spent like one season in Girona right now.
No, but still, people spend less and move.
Like last season, he was like injured a lot, right?
A lot of teams wanted him, but they kept him because Raul somehow convinced him to stay. Last season, he went to Girona. If he does another good season, I wouldn't be surprised if City came in for him.
Fair. Well, good luck to him. Right. Fran, definitely for me, needs to improve. Like, why don't we actually give scores to people apart from subs? I think we should start doing it. It's a nice touch. I've thought about it since we discussed it right now. Like, should we do it? I mean, it's kind of off the cuff. I guess Fran out of 10. Will it be harsh
to? You want to do that? I don't really like giving scores. So.
Really? Okay, fair. Fuck it, because it was something I was thinking about. But yeah, moving on to the next phase of the game. Yeah, Jude wins the pen, man. Nice step over, but even in real time, I felt like he bought it a bit. But I was just hoping and praying that the decision would stand, and the guy Melero didn't have to actually go to the monitor and whatnot. But a fair decision.
My father, he was watching football for the first time today. And he told me, this guy, he got the ball and he kicked the player down. So I don't know. To the untrained eye, it was probably a penalty. But
right.
I mean, it was 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it had been given, you wouldn't have I wouldn't have complained too much. It got taken away. I wouldn't complain too much.
Really, I didn't think like there was much contact, man. It wasn't like really 50-50.
I think probably he sort of runs into him. So 25-75, okay.
I actually thought I felt like he bought the penalty, and at least based on the games I've seen a lot of time, like the benefit of the doubt is given to the attacker in these situations, because the point is whether you like it or not, like this foot was outstretched from Alenia, you understand? Like maybe Bellingham did it too much. Like, I don't know, maybe that's the problem. But
I think it
kind
was
of
also
feel
the
like,
fact that Bellingham trailing leg caught Alenia. It wasn't like Bellingham's primary leg,
Yeah, I know that. I mean, like, Alena actually make a swipe and missed he missed him totally. You understand? And the point is that Bellingham's trailing leg was so trailing that it was like the wing of a 747. If it had been, just if it was
Man
like,
said,
if
man
it was
said
a
Jude's,
bit more.
man said Jude's trailing leg was a wing of a Boeing 747.
No,
That's
I mean,
that's a
if
good one.
it was a bit, if it wasn't that far away from, I feel like if it wasn't that outstretched, he would have gotten the PK, honestly. But I think I'm more with Jacob in the sense that I think it's not a 50-50. I think it's much more closer, to like a 75-25 or 80-20 kind of stuff.
75-25 in favor of Getafe, right? Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then I think I wrote it. I wrote this down. More as Mo mentioned before. France couple of moments, actually elevated his overall performance for sure. And one of them was that cross for Modric. And I didn't realize that Modric had the diving header in his locker. Almost pulled off the fucking Robin van Persie. If the header was at least like a couple of inches either side of the goal, he maybe could have scored, but it was kind of straight forward for Soria. It was straight at him, but he still had to make a stretching save to tip it over the bar. But nice from Modric. Let's talk about Modric, man. Was he as influential as we had liked him to be, or is it again a case of, like we discussed, especially when he came on against Celta Vigo, a lack of game time? Who should I ask this? Jacob.
I mean, today, like, it was far from what he gave out on the pitch against what is it?
Celta.
Yeah. So that game he looked.
It was much better, but it wasn't peak Modric as my.
I don't think we can see that peak Modric again for a long time. But yeah,
really.
Yeah, well, the man is 38. I'm really surprised. Like, even FIFA, like, we are gonna have an episode like to discuss the FIFA ratings, but then I felt like the Modric ratings was high already, but he did all the right things.
That's a damning verdict.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a damning verdict.
The thing is, like, okay, he can have that X factor. He can pull in that last pass when the shit really matters, And then today, we didn't really see much of that, but then he did all the right things. He kept the ball moving. So,
the thing is, like with Modric, he always he's done interviews before. He's always said this fact that he needs a run of game to get into his rhythm. With Modric always coming off the bench, I think he doesn't have that rhythm. Well,
yeah.
if he starts getting a run of matches, he will develop it. But the problem, I think, this season is the fact that when Camavinga, Tchouameni, Valverde, and Bellingham are starting together, it's almost like they almost seem to be the go-to choice. So it's difficult for Modric to break in, as it seems. I sort of understood why Ancelotti set up with him today, because we all knew that Getafe was going to sit deep and be defensive. So he probably expected some inventiveness and creativity from Modric, and I think he sort of did that, although probably not at his peak Modric levels. But I think he was still decent. For me, the issue with the Real Madrid setup today was the fact that we were Carvajal was almost isolated on the right, so I think that was something that really cost us today. Getafe completely focused on the left side defensively, and on the attack they were like pressing like monsters when Carvajal was on the ball. So that's something that cost us, and that is why I guess we sort of look like completely toothless in attack.
Mm-hmm. Apologies to the guys in the chat. My chat didn't actually load. I was thinking, it was glitching, but I just no. There is people. There's people actually. So apologies to the chat. I'm gonna get to the chat once we finish breaking down the first half. A couple more points of interest for me to break down at least. Right, France cross to Joselu. I mean, it wasn't a cross; it was a low cross. He should bury it. In my humble opinion, Joselu should bury it. He was stretching. I get it. He's basically falling down while attempting to make contact, but it's hit straight at David Soria, who again had a brilliant game, just like Just like Borja Mayoral, man, another former academy player, coming back to, truly give us a run for our money. He was absolutely imperious all throughout the game. And yeah, brilliant save. But for me, if he slots it either side of the goal, it's 1-1. Simple as that. But yeah, again, very good delivery from Fran.
I was actually talking to my brother today, and I told him the
Mm.
same thing, that if Mayoral had
Mm.
been playing for Real Madrid, I think our attack might have been much better, because Mayoral is probably more dynamic than Jose Luis.
Joselu, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But the thing is, for a fact, like whenever Mayoral has started with us, I've never felt convinced enough.
I mean,
I
Jose
felt
Luis
like
isn't
Morata
convincing
was.
either. Yeah, Morata probably, but none of them are particularly convincing. But if I had to have only one substitute in the team, only one striker, I'd probably have picked Mayoral.
Mayoral. He is a much better player technically,
Yeah,
100%.
his technique is better. That's why.
Right. Another big talking point. Jene should be a pen. In my humble opinion, should be a pen. I'll come to you, Farooq, who's gonna, have his very twisted world view on this particular instance. But yeah, go for it, man.
I don't think it's a pen, man. I think Jude steps on the ball and falls down, man. Like he thought, like I think from the highlight I saw, like Jenny actually, kicked the ball first. Like he kicked the ball and Jude's leg, and then Jude turned and stepped on the ball and fell. So I don't think that's enough to warrant the pen.
People got on for
I didn't
slighter
think Jude touched the
contact.
ball. Like,
I
I'm
didn't
sorry?
see that. I don't know
I
how
didn't-
he's seeing that.
I
No,
didn't
like,
think
he
Jude
did get-
fell off the ball.
No, Jude stepped on the ball and fell.
I don't think so.
No, I hear part of what Farooq is saying. Like, Jene did get part of the ball, but he took out Jude.
Oh,
Bellingham.
shit.
That part I agree.
You know what Sid sent me? He sent me a picture of him right next to Rodrigo. Let me
What?
just forward it in the chat. That
That is mad.
Well, he's in the car. Rodrigo's in the car, I think. Or the
okay.
team bus. It's not a team bus, it's a car, but
Yeah. it's just
but yeah. Brilliant stuff again, man. Sid doing all the hustle on his own in Madrid. Cloudy fucking skies. I wasn't expecting it to be so doom and gloom. I had heard that there was hints of rain, but thankfully it didn't pour. Fortunately for us, it didn't, because he would have been stranded alone. Right. Where were we on?
The Jene pen.
My bad. Absolutely.
Jude
Yeah.
penalty.
Jude Penn. Jene Penn shout. Jene, man. Shout out to Jene, the general. He has been in Getafe for so many years. I've had a soft soft corner for this guy. Whenever I see him, he's a man to put everything on the line, which I absolutely love in defenders. It reminds me of a hint of old school. But yeah, for me, he should be booked, and that should be a pen. Honestly, like what Mo said in the chat. Apparently, Robert Stuart Robson or
Dijk.
someone
Yeah.
said that it was similar to the Van Dijk challenge on who was it?
No, that was the Rudiger challenge, right? The Van Dijk challenge.
No, we were talking about the
This challenge. It reminded me of the Van Dijk challenge on, I forgot who it was. Alexander Isak last week in the game against Newcastle. Very similar, bro. Very similar. I have no idea. They kept showing the replay. Even when there was a big break in play, they kept showing the replay. And for me, the contact was enough to at least warrant some communication between the ref and the
think
VAR.
what Stuart and the other guy, Rob Palmer, they were saying was the fact that the tackle came from behind. Yeah, like although Jenny got the ball when he was tackling Jude, but it came from behind. So I think tackling from behind isn't something that's really looked kindly, and so that is the reason why probably should have been a pen. It's La Liga, it's the refs, it's Malero Lopez. With Malero Lopez, you always expect hair raising decisions. So.
Yeah, 100%. Let me post this in the stories. Just give me 1 second. It's because it's Rodrigo. I can't fucking wait.
I mean, If anyone sees the highlight, please just send me. I want to see again because, like, for me,
Oh
what I
yeah,
saw,
this guy.
you guys,
Of course.
you guys are speaking with such confidence. I'm thinking maybe I saw something different than this, So,
Bro, please do some self retrospection.
Now,
Don't we always disagree with you?
I'll have to double check as well about Bellingham
I mean, the point is because you're saying something different doesn't mean you're right. Like everyone can go right.
Okay, shots fired.
So
See,
really
honestly, bro, I saw at least 5 replays. For me, it should be a pen. But
this is what I'm saying. If you guys find something, send me so I can reflect. I'm trying to find it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just literally reflecting right now.
I'm not saying that you're wrong either. I just can't understand it. Similar to what you're feeling, probably we would need to, in the future, hopefully have a theater room and, sit down together, grab some popcorn and, break down some plays, man.
It is what it is, man. As you can see.
That's what you should be aiming for, that level of rich. Right?
I'm not speaking with confidence. What I'm saying is if 3 people are saying something is this way, it might actually be that way. Hence, I'm saying if you guys find something, tell me, because I feel like you guys are speaking with such confidence that it might mean that I didn't see something that you guys saw. Simple as that. If you're talking about retrospective, I don't know how to define retrospective other than this. This is the point. It's about reflecting.
Fair. But, bro, don't get so touchy and feely. I was joking. But
I mean, it's not about getting touched.
Farouk, I see what you're talking about. He sort of stops the ball with his feet and then falls over.
But there was enough contact, bro. He gets kicked on his shin, right? That should be enough contact.
He didn't get kicked. Come on, man.
Man, bro. So what is it? Is it a soft kiss? What can you call that, man? I have no idea.
I think there was contact.
Is it caressing? Is it caressing using the foot or something?
He went for the ball from the behind and in the moment got Bellingham.
But the ball is nowhere near where his foot is, especially behind.
He actually got the ball.
He touched the ball, man. What are you talking about, Sunay?
For me, in my memory, I don't remember him touching the ball at least even once.
The thing about it, this is when Sunay sees Bellingham, he doesn't see anything else. So.
I don't understand, man. I have no bias.
I mean,
let me be honest.
He talks about being retrospective, and he comes be like, okay. The guy's like, okay, I see what you saw. And he's like, no, it's impossible. He kicked him in the shin. And he talks about being, reflecting. You literally talked about reflecting 5 seconds ago. And the guy literally opened his phone and checked this. And you're like, no, it kicked him in the shin. Come on.
I didn't see the footage. I didn't see the footage back right now. From my memory, bro, I remember only Jenny kicking him. And him not getting the ball.
When it's Bellingham, it's like a reflective mirror person. He can't see anything.
Relax. He's not my bro. Okay, I just love him because he's doing the job for us. There's no bias. He's not Rodrigo for me yet. Okay, so relax.
There is no bias. Okay.
There's no bias.
I wonder what.
There's no bias. Bias is when I talk about Rodrigo. That is what bias is. Right. Okay, let's put that to the side. Okay, we have so many more match days to figure that out. But yeah, that was pretty much it with the first half. Joselu, some of the passing, I was unimpressed. I mentioned it a couple of times, but it is what it is. You can't expect Benzema levels of passing from Joselu. I was just at the moment, I was screaming, writing it down. Like shambolic passing some of the time. But. It is what it is. He eventually improved his overall performance, had some brilliant flicks to Rodrigo, etc. in the second half. But big up everyone in the chat. Again, friendly reminder, if you're new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. We are officially on the road to 2K. Akash Subedi, big up yourselves. He says, Hala Madrid, damn Bellingham. 100%. There's no better 2 words that I would like to hear on a good Saturday. Like today, it could have been easily a bad Saturday, but one man stood between that and us having a very bad post match. Right, Ashik says, "What's up, boys?" Pedro Marin is in the chat. Big up yourself, Pedro. He says, "Ala Madrid." Ashik says, "Anyone knows who scored the tying goal for Real Madrid at Farouk?"
I was waiting for that, but then don't worry, it's just 1 goal. We needed 2 more goals for the hat trick to actually happen, but don't worry. Now he's getting into good positions. Maybe one day I have to eventually find this Galatasaray Hagi jersey one of these days. But then it's cool. If Joselu scores a hat trick, I'd easily, I will happily pay the money for that.
Bro, there is Copa del Rey games, coming up, so brace
I mean,
yourselves.
we're talking about leagues, man. We don't talk about Copa. I mean,
Oh, okay,
you know,
fair.
it's
It's just League and the Champions League, yeah. Okay,
we talked about
that's
leagues, but I mean, we can add the Champions League as well. But I don't know. We will
okay.
wait to see that.
That's much more of a fair conversation, right? Ashik was saying he was leaning to left wing more. I think he was talking about Rodrigo. Ashik was saying Rodrigo seems to shine with the free movement, but looks like he left his shooting boots in Doha. Yeah, some of the shots I didn't understand the technique behind it, what he was envisioning in his mind before he put his laces through it. Just one of those days, man. But the man never stops trying. He's always constantly trying to make something happen.
I think
Right.
Rodrigo always had like 2 or 3 players around him, so
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
difficult to think straight when 3 people are crowding you out.
Did you guys
100%.
think
That's also
he was a
that's
bit too selfish today? Like, I know we want our best attacker to
In the
be
first half,
selfish,
yeah.
but then he
In the
should look
first
for
half, yeah.
his teammates a bit more when they're more open.
But Jacob, the issue is the fact that when he was playing with Benzema would drop and provide support.
Yeah.
Right now, Joselu doesn't quite have that, in his game. So he has to figure out how to, because what Sunet said at the start, he was like, the best players figure out how to play with other players. So Joselu isn't the best player. Rodrigo potentially is. So Rodrigo has to learn how to adapt to his.
To figure it out. Yeah, actually, that's a similar sentiment I share, because I feel like, with Rodrigo, he just feels like there is no one to do anything with him, So this is the reason why he just feels like there is no other choice than just to put your head down and fire the ball, wherever it goes, it goes.
I think
this will take a lot of, alchemy. Like, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error, honestly. But the problem is that, injuries to key personnel actually makes it really, really difficult, actually, because this is a formation that literally does not exist. You're just trying to make something happen out of nothing. So it really requires a lot of, chemistry and understanding between the players. And right now, I don't know how that's gonna happen, with the stats up we're having with our players.
fair. I think it's also mostly brought down because of frustration, man. Like when he sees that there's nobody else actually, providing a killer ball, or Jude sometimes he did, or attempting to take clean enough shots. I think he might have been caught up in his own head a bit at times, especially with Vinny missing. There is too much responsibility on Rodrigo, and it can get to you sometimes. 100%. Right, first half done. Next question that I think Ashik posed is a good segue for us into the second half. He was asking, Farooq, what's your take on Ancelotti's adjustment today? Cruz came off. Cruz came on. Kama went off. Nacho came on. And Fran went off. Before that, Farooq, Kamavinga, usually the man who we doesn't think twice to praise nowadays. He had a very poor game by his standards.
I mean, all 3 midfielders had very poor games by their standards. So it's not just on him. Like, I think there was a really, really huge disconnect in the game today. I don't really can't, wrap my finger around why that was it. Like, there was a really, really huge disconnect there, honestly. And yeah, like, even, in the chat when we saw Cruz coming on, I, definitely thought it was going to be for Kamavinga, because, he looked, exceptionally. I mean, he looked maybe a bit one step below the others, for some reason. But the first half of the game, really, I really don't know. Maybe you guys can shed some light. Like, I really don't know why it was so bad, honestly, because I was expecting more from, the rigid midfield 4, but maybe because also, the lack of, match build up or match fitness, from Luka Modric might be an issue as well, So that was it. And also the the rough tactics from Getafe, but credit to Getafe, in the first half, they, took the game to us as well in certain instances as well. But yeah, you're right, Kamavinga, honestly, shat the bed in this one, honestly. So I mean, only time will tell, we just
I think
have to
shat
see.
the
But
bed is too strong. I think it's more, you could probably say that he was anonymous.
okay, he was anonymous. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's a fair one.
Shat the bed
found
would be, it's like, he did the mistakes he made against Barcelona, where he just literally gave the ball away.
shitting the bed is akin to what Kepa did towards the end of the game. When he can, play a square pass, call it a day. He tries to ping a ball like fucking Manuel Neuer, and look what happened. It could have easily ended up.
Man,
in a
Is it-
goal, that
my heart
completely,
skipped a beat. That
threw
that
up
was
2 points.
When that thing happened, my brother, like, it was like, even before that, he did some hair raising stuff, and my brother was like, "Is this guy a footballer? Are you sure?"
man. It was some David De
Bro,
Gea shit, man.
goalkeepers.
I thought he was good on the ball.
Bro, David De Gea is better. Like, come on, relax. Let me tell you something, right? Kepa is someone who is good. Yeah, let's not get it twisted. He's good. His shot stopping is fine, has improved a lot, ever since his horror shows in Chelsea. But what should a goalkeeper do, right? The minimum a goalkeeper should do is, even if he's not having a good day, his handling and his overall decision making should give his defense some sort of confidence. I have no idea
I
how.
think
I
sometimes
think
he gets too overconfident. He's like one of those cocky kids on the ground, trying to show off.
I
That's
have
what
no
happens.
idea what gods Rudiger and Alaba has turned to trust his instincts and trust Kepa with his job, honestly, because they'll have to turn to Buddhism, I think, to find inner peace, because this is getting next levels of mockery. Sometimes I feel like what Mo said, he doesn't take it seriously enough. That's the impression he gives me. It's not fucking acceptable, bro, honestly. And I see very costly goals being conceded because of this man's um, erratic nature. And I predicted this even before he set foot in Spain. But so many guys were like, "Oh, this is the best deal in terms of availability, in terms of who we can get for a year, blah blah blah." But you see what you got yourselves into, man. I hope guys realize that this guy is fucking overrated. Trust me, he's overrated. Um, right. So the change in shape. The change in shape. Um, Alaba switches to left back, which gives us a bit more.
Let's be honest. I don't think the change in shape had anything to do with it. The fact that changed the game was Cruz. He was if you had put Cruz in anywhere and not change anything else, the game would still have changed.
100%. But you know why the left hand side, like I said in the chat, it was a bit more freer than the right, where we were struggling to actually create inroads. And for me, Kamaving in the first half, when he had time and space to actually do something inventive, he just couldn't. Right. But when Cruz came on, he just had his passing boots on, incredible passing boots. We all know about it. And yeah, he started springing balls where to uncomfortable positions where the defenders had to think twice to reposition themselves, had to look over their shoulder constantly. And yeah, man, Kroos was the real thorn in Getafe's overall game plan today. And yeah,
I
he
think
was.
when Camavinga was on the field, when the starting, like, except Modric, the other three were on the field. The issue for me was, like, we play too centrally, and Getafe, their setup is like, they have they have four defenders, but even their two CDMs, they always tuck back into the back line, and they play with six defenders almost. So I think when you're playing against teams like Getafe, you have to be able to stretch them out. With Real Madrid in the first half, we didn't really have that because Carvajal was completely isolated. He was like almost playing almost playing the right forward alone. So I think that is why we weren't able to stretch him. And Getafe had that luxury of pressuring us on our left side of our attack. And then when the right side had the ball, they sort of like pressed them higher up, and sort of created the chances from there. When Cruz came on, he had the ability to switch the plays. In that way, he managed to stretch Getafe's defense, and Getafe sort of like tried to counteract them with the substitutions they made. They brought on some defensive wingers and everything. That's how the game changed. And I think Cruz, with his ability to switch plays, managed to create spaces that previously weren't there.
100%.
Thank you so much, Mo. Now that answers your question, Ashik. He's talking about, changes that Carlo Ancelotti made. He's talking as if, Carlo bought a winger to become an inverted winger and, a CB to step into the midfield. Come on, you're just playing a World Cup, 5-time fucking UCL winning legendary midfielder. You're literally bringing him onto
I have
the
no
pitch. What
words.
has
No
Carlo
words.
done?
Man,
No
What
comments.
has
No
Carlo
comments.
done? He literally just
Man.
brought the man onto the pitch.
No comments.
Come on.
man,
No
but that
comments.
was an adjustment. Like, he immediately reacted to what the game needed, and I think he got his subs right and the game plan right.
If he had
I
waited
mean,
maybe
the point
20 more
is
minutes,
the point is this, guys. Everyone who saw the first half knew it was jack shit. Something wasn't working. You have to change. What do you change? You have a World Cup winning 5-time UCL champion, maybe arguably one of the best passes the game I've seen. And then it's not an adjustment, it's just a change. There was no adjustment there, as Mo rightly pointed. This is also what I believe. Even if you kept Fran Garcia where you kept him, it's fine. The game would have gone on the same way it went. And the point is also Getafe we're gonna come out in the second half always just to defend what they have. And the point is you have space, you have Carvajal there just running up and down. Cruz is gonna do what Cruz does. Like honestly, credit to Cruz a lot. Like, but I wouldn't be like it's an adjustment from Carlo Ancelotti. At least this is not what I call an adjustment. Maybe it's an adjustment to you guys, but at least for me, it's not what I define as an adjustment. Like, it's a good sub, yeah, but everything is down to Toni Kroos. Honestly, he was fantastic. He literally, I would almost say won us the game single-handedly, honestly, because of how much effort and pressure he put on Getafe, and also credit to Toni Kroos.
100%. The moment he came on, the incisive passes, incisive switches of play was really, really, proving to be a weapon. And I didn't expect him to really flip it up right away. And especially when I saw the space in the first half where Camavinga could drive with the ball and probably get into the box more, which he hesitated and tried pot shots from outside. A couple of times he slipped and whatnot. I was thinking Cruz again isn't he too passive to actually infiltrate that acre of space that we have been afforded by Getafe on the left? I thought maybe it might not work. But
the thing for me is the fact that why would you want somebody who's running it again and again into a wall? Because Getafe almost had a wall centrally, right? So the idea is to open up spaces. You cannot just keep doing the same thing that is now working with Rodrigo and everybody else. So you had to try something different.
100%, that makes sense.
Came on, he started stretching the back line, and spaces started appearing.
Well, yeah, we'll actually talk about others in a bit. But Cruz, seriously, I think has given Carlo a headache, at least for the immediate future.
I don't think so. The thing is, like with Ancelotti already knows what he can get with his players. His big gamble was, taking out Valverde, and probably he was injured because whatever happened to his end, I don't know. Maybe he fought with Alex Bayern again. But the thing is, like
he was preparing for the fight, man. That's why it's bandaged, so the punches can land harder, bro.
Yeah, whatever. So I think he probably kept him out. But I think if Valverde had started, we probably had more width, because Valverde had that ability to go out on the right and attack with pace. So I think that probably would have worked. But Ancelotti probably wanted to try out Modric, give him some game time, keep him happy. So he did whatever he did. But then, given the circumstances of the match, bringing on Cruz was the best decision. I think going forward, I think it's still going to be stuck with these four starting, because I think frankly this will work if given time, and I think with time this will work. So.
But that's a nice problem to have, though. When Cruz has started, like even though he has had some iffy moments, especially against Almeria, I think he's going to have a telling role, like we all anticipate. Not a prominent role, but at least a telling role.
He'll definitely be helpful against teams that seat position. Because I think even in the Champions League, although I'm not familiar with all the teams because I've never watched Braha play, but when we are playing against likes of Union Berlin, they sort of tend to sit back. So against teams like these, I think Cruz will be very helpful.
100%. Any more flowers for Cruz?
Yeah, I mean,
Farouk or Jacob?
With just the half hour that he played, the 45 minutes that he played, he had 7 key passes, 7 long balls completed, like all of those stats, and 96% pass completion. Just what a man, what a guy.
Yeah, I think when Cruz leaves, you're truly gonna miss a tempo controlling midfielder because nobody can do it like Cruz does. So the best we can hope for is like one of Tchouameni or Camavinga grows into that role. Otherwise, you would have to bring in someone. But the only guy who I see close to him in controlling the tempo is at Barcelona. So.
And did you guys?
Who at Barcelona again? De Jong. Okay.
Frenkie De Jong.
Okay. Did you guys remember the Carvajal pass that Cruz made? Like open, and then Carvajal actually had enough time to take a touch.
If he takes a touch and attempts a shot himself, I think Soria is in deep trouble. But he didn't. He wanted to chest it down to Joselu.
I think at some point in the game, Carvajal tries too hard to get Joselu a goal.
Yeah. Obviously, Jacob knows the word called alien. If it's the brother-in-law, you gotta cater to him first. It's just a natural inclination, I guess. Thanking Joselu for being part of the genes, I guess, but it didn't work. Danny should have been a little more selfish, and probably we could have tied the game then and there. But Kepa actually makes a save, I think. Nacho had a mare. He gives the ball away, and then Getafe breaks on us, and he eventually, manages to get on top of the situation. And
did he give the ball away? I thought he miscontrolled the ball, but then he somehow managed to get it to Kepa.
Sorry, he miscontrolled the ball. Yeah, that's what happened. He didn't give the ball away, but he actually, miscontrols the ball, and Getafe breaks on us, and I was fucking, pissing my sheets. Wasn't expecting that to happen. Getafe was completely looking for something to pounce on, and they thought they had their moment. And Nacho again, man. Let's just quickly talk about him. Had some brilliant interceptions. Whenever he was called upon, he stood up high, stood up strong. The armband does shit to people, man. Like he didn't look out of place apart from that one moment, which was a howler. He didn't look out of place, out of tempo of the game. He completely slotted in, perfectly, and was pretty gritty in every clearance block he made. And compared to Rudiger, let me pose this question, because I've seen so many people slating Rudiger, saying that sometimes he also doesn't give them enough confidence, even though we have been kind of praising Rudiger for his performances as
I
of late.
think
But
Rudiger's things are more like hair raising. He sometimes has that moment of madness, the red misdefense, and he does a lot of strange things. So I guess that is why they don't really have trust. I don't really think Nacho does that stuff. He doesn't lose his head. There's a reason why
much more stable guy.
Yeah, much more stable guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nacho has been the leader of one of the leaders in the dressing room for a reason, because he had that stable mind, he had that, and that's probably why the pressure doesn't phase him. He was the captain of Castilla, now he's captaining Real Madrid. So
since we're on the defenders, Nacho, anyone else has anything to add to Nacho's cameo?
Nah, man.
No, yeah.
Nah, man. I think he wasn't
pretty solid. Expected.
Yeah, I mean, again, and also we weren't challenged too much, honestly. So there isn't
but
there wasn't much. But as you guys said, he gives you just that stability. Like obviously, like when you compare to Rudiger's ceiling is much more higher, but the floor of Rudiger is lower than that of Nacho as well. As more attested to with the brain farts and all that. But yeah, man, it was a good one. And being the captain, he is the captain for a reason. People respect him, and yeah, fair credit to him.
Let's talk about Rudiger and Alaba, combined. Rudiger for me, one moment, especially the big moment, when he is actually trying to clear or get close to the ball, how does it pass between his legs? Such a big man, such I don't want to say wide legs, but his legs aren't any normal legs. He's what, 6'3", right? 6'4". How does it happen? I can't understand. And Alaba, who should be the play for the goal, when he is actually attempting to get in line of the shot, it actually goes through his legs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Man, he was running. He was running.
I know, but still, I'm not completely slating for that. The actual slate is for Alaba, who completely just I don't know, holds the man's hand. He's holding Borja Mayoral's hand instead of actually committing himself. But I guess maybe committing himself would have ended up in a pen anyways, because it was pretty risky.
I think in a moment like this, the defenders are too panicked for us to be judging them on those actions, because that time you don't really know what to do. It's like a boxer who's being punched on his face. He completely loses his concentration. He doesn't really know what to do. So
100%.
For them, it was just all about stopping Mayoral, using whatever means possible. So probably that's why what they were doing.
Anyone else have different opinions?
I don't think Alaba could have done much, man, at that situation. It would have taken something special, or a miracle.
I expect too much, man. I expect my defenders to be Sergio fucking Ramos, but
I mean, Ramos wouldn't have been able to do everything. Bro, at least I'm expecting a lunge.
and not cleaning the man out, but a lunge in the direction of at least anticipating the angle from which the shot is
That's
going to
the
come
point
and
I'm saying.
lunging.
In that situation, the ball is completely under the control of the attacker, right? You cannot anticipate anything. Even if you, like, Kepa anticipated him shooting, Ira just took the ball, beyond them.
Around him, yeah.
That's how the situation is. So you really can't do anything. Once your goalkeeper is already dove, you have nobody behind him, so you cannot be making rash decisions. So
I do know one thing
he
though,
did the best.
Sergio Ramos, he would have basically did a goal line clearance if it was in for Rodrigo.
Yeah, he would have run to the goal maybe, yeah.
There's only like 2 occasions I remember of goals like these being stopped, and both of them were on the line. One I think was Ramos, the other one was Varane.
Varane, yeah. Ashik is saying, so speaking of Ramos, he's a free agent. I can't fucking believe how that's happening, man. How is he a free agent?
He's not a free agent for lack of choice. He's a free agent by choice.
Exactly.
I can understand that, but why?
I think he's deciding where he wants to go.
Who is he saving himself for? Because it's been 2 fucking months, more than 2 months.
I think he already has some offers from Turkey. He had an offer from Al Ittihad, and those guys. There's another one. I am forgetting which one that was.
Yeah, the Gala deal I think fell off. I think it was the Istanbul deal that fell off, but I think Gala was interested in blah blah blah.
Galatasaray is in Istanbul.
Yeah, Galatasaray actually were the guys who were interested.
I was talking about Başakşehir. Sorry.
I don't think Başakşehir was for him. It was Besiktas.
Oh, it's Besiktas? Oh, my bad. Right. Okay, fair enough. Defenders out of the way. Right. So the next instance, Kepa had a good save from Elena, decent height. He should fucking save that, otherwise, he shouldn't be a goalkeeper. Yeah, Joselu had a couple of brilliant, interchanges with Rodrigo. Then the Carvajal shot, that was very nice. Very, very nice. Where he kind of anticipated Soria is going to, read the cutback to Joselu. He basically, he has to decide in a split second. And this is why I love Carvajal, man. Like, he has the ability to improvise in very critical situations. Like that reminded me of his goal against Sevilla in the UEFA Super Cup. Nobody's gonna actually advise Carvajal to dribble past 4-man and fucking blast the ball into the roof of the net, but he did that because he has the balls of steel. And again, he just saw Soria come out and attempted a shot, came off the post. Any thoughts on Carvajal, man, today? Even though he didn't have much joy down the right, he had to improvise a lot of the time, but whenever called upon, he was pretty good.
He was always an option, man.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you could always lay the ball to him, and you could expect the cross in. And I remember, like, when Lucas Vazquez came on, he actually it was a really good chance to put it in, and Joselu was kind of free, but then it was straight to Soria. Carvajal wouldn't have done. He would have taken that extra touch, and put it in.
I think Ancelotti said something that was pretty interesting in post-match. He said Carvajal has always been he's always been good, but right now he's at the level of the best version of Carvajal, and he said that he's the best right back in the market right now.
In the market,
so, yeah, maybe a little bit is exaggeration, but I think Carvajal is doing pretty well, despite the fact that today he was pretty isolated, but he still managed to do well.
Farouk has had a resurgence, right?
You guys. Yeah, definitely, definitely 100%. But my worry is the fact that, Carvajal is made of glass. This is the problem, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. So honestly, for me, I want to see him rested here and there, Obviously, I know now I'm playing week to week, it's fair. But, once the UCL kick in after the international break, I really hope, we get to see a lot of Lucas Vazquez as well. Because as they said, as he said, I do believe that Carvajal is one of the best you can find on the market right now, although he's aging. I do believe, this is one of the best versions also. Not the peak Carvajal version, but one of the best versions of Carvajal we've seen in a while. So I think, if he can maintain
even this version of Carvajal trumps almost 99% of fullbacks out there.
Even the worst version of Carvajal trumps 99% of the fullbacks, but I think I sort of gave up on him after last season because I think he was on a downward slope. Where he somehow got the second win, and he's being better than I expected, and I guess any of us expected, really.
It's not just the tangibles as well, yeah. He has so many other facets of the game that just we can't really point out that that the
Yeah, man,
leadership.
I mean, you only have to look at his skill set. The fact that the
Mm.
matter is like this guy is somebody who can bomb forward to play in the crosses, but then he can also invert and play
Exactly.
in the correct passes. And I think that's something that we're talking about. On the other end, Fran is somebody who has his way of playing, and if you make him uncomfortable, he's probably having trouble adapting. So on the other hand, you have Carvajal who's doing everything possible. And I guess this is one of the reasons why Pep wanted him at City like a couple of years back. So you really don't have a bigger
Pep wanted him at City, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Before Madrid extended him till 2025.
Okay, fair. Right.
Fran Garcia is just sitting somewhere catching strays. They're calling one person intelligent, then you're saying on the other side we have this person. I mean,
They basically implying that
No,
Fran
man,
is a.
Farouk, the thing is like I like Fran. I want him to succeed at Real Madrid, but I as much as of a supporter I am of Fran, I understand his limitations.
Bro, but you said the man has low IQ, man. That's a low blow.
He has low IQ. You guys are just putting words in my mouth now.
Right, fair enough. Okay. Right, Ashik was saying, Farouk, completely agree with you. Budgeting Carvajal's minutes once you see your starts and keeping him away from the Copa del Rey completely is, I think, he's implying it's a good choice. Right.
I mean, I think there's gonna be a storm soon. Like Ashik is agreeing with me a lot this past few weeks. I think something happened to him, man. Let's make sure my entourage hasn't kidnapped him.
Okay, so you seem like you are in the know, yeah? Seems like you kind of know what's going on.
I have no idea. My people always do something on my behalf. They just interpret some of my, actions, although I don't give commands directly. So, they might have or they might not have. So I'm not sure.
Right. Farouk here doesn't intend any harm. He's just basically using his entourage to kidnap Ashik and shoot a rap video, is it? Right? In Milan?
That's the plan. Warning, it's just a subtle warning to everybody.
Right. But big up Ashik every single time, man. Big up every single one in the chat. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Let's talk about the goal, right? On the first instance itself, I was like, this is not a goal. No way it can be. No way in hell, because there's multiple infringements. There's Jenny involved who is basically handling the ball again. So it's non-consequential, but there's so much fucking going on. I was thinking there's no way this goal is going to stand. But let me come to you more first. Why do you think it stood, and should it have stood?
Well, I already said in the chat, right? There was some goodie bags exchange. That's why it's stood.
That's got to be the talk of the town in tomorrow morning's papers, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, but honestly, even I don't know what the decision making was, because I think there was even a Rudiger handball of sorts. I don't if you guys remember that. So there's a Rudiger handball, there's a Jenny handball, but the Jenny handball, like you said, is inconsequential because advantage is limited. But then even there was a suspicion of Joselu being offside when the cross was played in. So for me personally, even I fail to understand why the goal got given or how they came to the decision, but they came to the decision. So we stay silent and just accept it.
Anybody else has anything to pitch in about the goal, man? Farouk.
I think for me, the issue I have with these guys is that, they say that the video assistant referee is only there, to help the referee when there's a clear and obvious error, you understand? If it takes you more than 30 seconds to figure out that there is an error there, it means that the error was not clear and obvious in the first place. As Mo rightly pointed out, okay, what were they taking? Rudiger's handball, already it was in a different passage of play. The ball went out again and came back in. You understand? That wasn't what affected that, You're talking about Jenny's handball. It was something that, it's either it's a pen or it's a goal.
But Farouk, my question is, they have gone back way further than that during some, VR decisions, right?
So just to add to your point, I think Farouk, the play did not change. The ball was still with Real Madrid. The play would have changed if
that's also
if Getafe had taken control of the ball. Getafe never controlled the ball. It was
or if the ball goes out, right?
Yeah.
Or if the ball goes out.
If I'm not mistaken, after the ball hit Rudiger, they hit the ball out. Didn't they hit the ball out?
They cleared the ball, but it went
I think it was the same phase of play because Getafe did not have the ball under control.
Yep.
Okay, so like a clearing of a ball is not considered as having a ball under control. Okay, fair point. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, if it's taking so long to decide this, then it means it's not a clear and obvious error then. You're just wasting our time, and people in the stadium are there wondering. We at home, at least we have replays, we can see what's going on. You're just there, like even the ref had this bewildered thing on his face. Also, he doesn't know what was going on, so it's just, really, really, I think the whole VAR thing is just, shambolic, honestly, the application of it. I just believe that, if you can figure out what's happening in the first 30 seconds, like, you don't need to take minutes to decide if something happened or did not happen, honestly. It's not a clear and obvious error, it means.
Jacob.
Yeah, man, Farooq said it all. Like, took the words out of my mouth pretty much, but yeah, I agree.
That's it. That's what.
What else?
That's why I pay you, man. Jacob, this is horrible. this is just downright taking the piss, man. Honestly, come on, Jacob. You're given a seat over here, and that's all you got to say, yeah. Fair. Right, we move. Okay.
Brooklyn, you should be very careful of pissing off Jacob. Okay.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, man. Honestly,
this send his Thailand mafia after you with all those.
True. See, if it's normal guys in tank suits, I'm fine. But it'll take a while for me to recognize if it's a guy or a girl. So especially if it's Thai, it's gonna be difficult.
Like, truth be told, like, I actually have the number of a guy in Thai mafia. Like, I needed something from him. So.
You're on live. You're on live TV, right? Like, everyone is literally listening to you.
Jacob doesn't give two fucks, man.
Yeah, nobody listens
because he's not
to
in Thailand anymore.
Yeah, I mean, nobody in my family listens to this pod, so I'm safe.
Right. Fair. But there'll be spies, man. Honestly, so just watch out. But yeah, for me, this goal is going to be talked about. Like so many goals that has been talked about, big teams getting favored and blah blah blah. This is going to be another stain in La Liga's never ending long line of shit decisions. This is going to be one of them. But yeah, for me, we were fortunate. Let's put it that way. But we deserved it, for me at least. A couple of decisions didn't go our way, which should have gone our way. So I'll take it. Rubber the green, all of that. Right, Fede came on, was pretty decent. I honestly, the first thing I felt was that feeling of having Karim on the pitch. With that bandage floating. I think he basically, like FIFA, when Fede came on with the bandage, it gave him a +10 dribbling boost, man. I have no idea, because he all of a sudden looked way more silkier, way more slicker, in his movement. I don't know if it was just placebo or something, but I quite enjoyed Fede's performance. His cross for Rodrigo, and I think Jude was attacking it as well. If it's like a couple of seconds earlier or something, the guys would completely get on the end of it, and it would have been a very well deserved assist. Fede for me again, a half fit Fede is still looking pretty decent, and in my humble opinion, even though he's not being decisive in goals and in the final third, he is having a much better season or start of the season than last year, in my humble opinion. Even though he had that brilliant solo goal against, I think, Mallorca or somebody, but this season I feel like he's looking pretty good. Anybody have anything to add?
Man, I think
on
you're forgetting how Fede started last season, man. He was literally he was Jude version 1, man. Jude is Fede version 2.
Yeah, I actually agree with Farooq. I think the recency bias is clouding.
It's not just recency bias. Let me put it this way. Yeah, like, I mean, last year,
the recent when I say recency, I would say how he ended the season is clouding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably. But let me also add this in it as well. Yeah, like, we had a fully fit Vinny, right? A fully fit front three. I mean, Benzema was having his issues, but I remember Benzema playing on and off. Yeah, so he had help. But Jude Bellingham has single-handedly, I don't remember Fede, maybe apart from maybe like couple of games.
It's Jude and 10 pieces of wood right now.
Man, it's just what I feel. Okay, I'm not gonna just sit here and lie about what I feel.
Like Fede single-handedly won us at least 5 games early on last season.
5?
Yeah. It was match-winning goals.
I've never won for saying that people single-handedly won the game, but I think Fede was pretty influential at the start of the last season as well. And I think this season as well has been good. So I wouldn't say like that last season he was better. Like this season he was better than last season. He's been good pretty much. For me, the thing is like with Fede, we have to see how he plays as the season goes on, because he has to keep up his level.
I don't know. Just my gut telling to me that Fede looks so much more himself this year. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Maybe it's because of his positioning. He's playing more midfield,
True.
so probably you see that.
True. He was pretty isolated, down the right, when playing out wide. Right. Who else? Right. I think that's pretty much it. Lucas Vazquez, we're going to touch upon him, when we get to the goal.
You want to read Ashik's comment? So,
which one?
So far,
Go for it.
He says, so far I'm still waiting for Jude's contribution. Has he done anything so far?
Okay, for Dortmund, that is.
Oh.
He clarifies it. You should take up a role in some yellow pages, man. Ashik, you're gonna earn some, good money, good dough, doing that, because he has a real knack for, stating all the clickbaity lines all in one go.
So why yellow pages? Why not English media?
True, it's the same thing. Sun is a yellow page.
Sun, Daily Mail.
Even Marca. I mean, how different is Marca?
Marca doesn't do clickbaity headlines. Come on,
bro. Sometimes I see Marca posting about fucking Kardashians, man.
We're talking about Marca the sports paper, not Marca the entertainment garbage.
But I see Marcus page on Facebook
rubbish news,
posting.
But they're pretty confused. They're pretty confident about it. Now, man, I get what you're saying. Marca does do the.
They do a lot of sleazy stuff, man. I didn't expect that.
Stuff is sports news, okay.
But anyway, I didn't expect them to post sleazy stuff. I was fucking shocked. I lost my innocence, man. But it is what it is. Right. No. Go for it. You loaded up the fucking shotgun. Just fire it away.
No, this is a PG podcast. So.
PG? Really? With Farouk on it? Okay, fair. Right. Right. Let's talk about how the team kind of rallied the troops and showed some balls, especially guys who came on. Didn't think twice about taking shots. Always took responsibility. It was pretty nerve-wracking. I could see the look on Carlos' face, honestly, like especially after people like Rudiger skying. He was losing it. He was losing his entire composure. Like I could look over at the bench and see that there was nerves.
I think from our side, the nerves were mainly because it was a new stadium and we didn't really want to lose on the occasion. So that was probably it. And I think, but honestly, from my side, I felt that ever since the second half started and Cruz came on, the game entirely changed. And we were pretty much dominant. Getafe barely, they had a couple of chances, but that was it. So I think the game has changed.
But we weren't having the cutting edge we would have liked. So that was my concern.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. When they conceded, Getafe decided that they were just gonna take a 1-1 and go back. They pretty much shut the shop. I mentioned about the changes they made, so they wouldn't get as tired as they were with Cruz coming on. So I guess that's how the game was, and we had trouble, unlocking the defense.
Right. How does the goal happen again? Can someone run it down for me?
Lucas Vazquez used his goat powers in, such powerful shot. So he had to spin it out, and then Bellingham, let me just describe it the way Stuart Robson described it. Everybody else was standing still. Only Jude Bellingham had the idea to take that one.
Well, he's not wrong, is he? He's not wrong, is he? He's not wrong, is he? Why are you taking the piss, though?
Jude gets credit for making that run, but to say that everybody else was nobody had the wherewithal. That was.
There should be a reason why top goal scorers, top poachers. Jude is not one of them. But we say that some people have a real instinct for where and when to be, right, and get on the end of things. It's not fabricated, though.
Yo,
guys,
Snake,
please back me up on that.
Just taking the piece, man. There is nothing there, man. He's just taking the piece. Obviously, timing is wrong, being onside. It was.
I know. He's taking the piss, but I'm just putting it out there that we should all agree with Stuart Robson, and it makes a difference. But let's talk about Lucas Vazquez first, right? Until then, David Soria is super composed, tipping everything over. Anticipating stuff that even before it happens. One pot shot from Lucas Vazquez. Unless Lucas Vazquez has some otherworldly, I repeat, otherworldly, supernatural powers. How does he spill such a simple shot? How does that happen?
Right now
Do you
you sound
know?
like one of those preachers in the church who, like,
Maybe I'm
proof of
maybe I'm
Lucas
turning to
Vazquez.
Jesus. After tonight. But Lucas Vazquez, man, what did he deploy on that shot? That's my question.
I feel
Do
like
you know where
there-
we call him Lord Vasquez? Do you know where he's Lord of?
Where?
Okay, you should search that. So where he is Lord of, they have this juju witchcrafts, and they can make the ball turn. They can make the ball turn into a lion. So like David Soria wasn't seeing the ball we were seeing, rather he was seeing a lion running at him.
Oh.
So for that reason, he could not embrace the ball. This is the reason why.
But
So,
man, the thing is, like, when a
Was it
keeper is pulling
Narnia?
off like 12, 13 saves, he'll make a mistake. It's David Soria, it's not Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah.
Even with Courtois, we know that sometimes something might happen. So it was just one of those things, and I think Jude made a good run. He used his instincts well and got in the right position at the right time, as you said.
Very neat finish as well.
Yeah.
Very neat finish. The technique involved in the finish makes it look so effortless. But I'm telling you, it's not that easy. Never easy. But
Right,
yeah,
if it was easy, the strikers wouldn't be the most expensive players on the pitch.
100%, 100%. Jacob, man, Jude again coming clutch. 100 million seems like a bargain, or no?
Yeah, I mean, initially I was like even thinking like 100 million might have been too much for him, but then like I hadn't seen him play. Now that I've seen him play, like totally, man, he's singing. Again like Mo won't like it, but he's single-handedly like winning us matches. So.
Even last year when
just to clarify, I totally understand when you say that he's been very influential in winning the games. What I disliked about the way Stuart Robson described is like we don't really have to minimize other players too,
Yeah, obviously, but there should be a reason why he's getting on the end of these chances
We totally understand
week in, week out. It's not a sporadic spell where he's having a purple patch and then goes missing for large games, right?
Well, right now it's only 4 games, okay? If he does
But still, man,
games,
still 4 weeks back to back. How is this a coincidence?
Right now, it is the very definition of a purple patch. If he does it for 38 games, if he does it year over year, then you can say it's a purple patch.
Even during preseason, apart from the Barcelona game, he was very,
Actually, see, Sunay, the point I tried actually to make with you is always every week is this. We have the same argument as this. Jude has never scored an argument today. No, Jude has never scored more than I think 8 league goals in his whole life. Yeah. And you come and you feel like, okay, like this is the guy who's gonna score the goals. He hasn't shown anything to prove that.
I'm not saying that. Oh my god, I'm not saying that.
This is what Mo is saying. This is definitely the definition of someone in a good moment, in a good scoring moment. What's going to happen across the next 15, 20 games? Similar to what I asked in the chat yesterday. What is the limit for Jude? Is it 20 goals? Is it 25 goals? Because for me, it's a 20 goal and assist combination. That's what I expect from Jude. And anything more is an addition. You understand? So like the point that he's already scored 4 goals now means that most likely maybe he's going to score 6 or maybe 7 goals more, which means that he's going to go maybe 20 games without scoring. So does that mean
before he came on, let me ask you something, Farouk. Yeah, before he joined us and started doing this week in, week out, did you have an expectation or a target to give him that, oh bro, you should score 20 goals and add assists to have a good season?
When he joined us, why at Dortmund, this is what he's doing for them at Dortmund. He has a 20.
Guys, are you hearing the same thing that I'm hearing, or am I having a different dimension being, poked into my eardrums now? Because he's saying that basically he expected before Jude joined that he would have 20 plus goals.
This is what he has done. Not 20 plus goals. 10 goals, 10 assists. 10 goals, 10 assists. Goal combination. This is what he does at Dortmund. Like this is what his profile is.
I thought 20 goals and assists. Okay. Plus assists. Sorry, that's what I meant.
My name is not Sunaid, bro. Like I remain in the realm of reality, not
Oh, okay. Fair. Right. Your reality is playing.
Come with a bazooka
No, I don't get this man's reality. His reality is basically playing the most entertaining football and just pack your bags and go home when it matters.
Football. It's not about playing entertaining football. This is the thing. Like for me, I like Diego Simeone. The point is why he has a certain pattern that you can go and watch and understand. You understand? It's all about
Oh my God.
This is not. That's the thing. Like you guys keep, painting me as a guy who is a fan. of
Right,
this.
Farouk. I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to Footballia, okay, of the match between Betis and Atleti that they played at Betis's home. Right. Go watch it and you tell me.
Which Atleti are you talking about? Which Atleti are you talking about?
I think he's
Atleti-
talking about the
Atletico
game
Madrid.
Right now,
like
Atleti
2
doesn't
weeks
have an
ago.
image. They don't even know what they're doing. I'm talking about the days where we had people who were actually proper players, the Godins, the Mirandas. I mean, now Atleti is what they are, man. They're a mixture of, what this young players are trying to do and old players are trying to do. Some of them are flaky, some of them are anyways. Story for the gods.
Yes, Sid is in the chat. He's saying, Farouk is saying the truth. Come on, man, stop kissing his ass. I don't like this fanfare for this guy, because once things start, hitting the fan, we'll all be on Farouk's side, which I hated. At least now, we'll have these battles which I relish so much. But yeah, I don't like this fanfare at all. Ashi was saying Stuart Robson did take a dig at English players, though. He praised La Liga players for not going to the corner to waste time. But then Jude goes to the corner and he said, he's English. Right?
What Stuart said, he said that La Liga players don't waste time. The irony is that he was saying that in a game match that Getafe was playing in.
Exactly. Exactly.
When somebody
against Barcelona, they had 15 minutes of added time and they barely played like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like you completely lack. You
bro. When someone sponsors your paycheck, your tone changes, man. Your ideologies, gets shifted for a bit. But right, brilliant finish. Basically, saves our blushes for at least another match day. But yeah, final thoughts. Any other subs that we didn't touch upon?
I think Brahim had a decent game.
Brahim Diaz.
Oh, Brahim had a very good game. Very good game. Yeah, somebody can take the mantle. Mo, if you want to.
No, let Farouk do. He's in Milan. He has the Milan
Right.
score.
Right.
I mean, I felt like he had an okay game, like a good game, but like not a very good one. I feel like at least this is what I feel like. I feel like it was a good game, but like not a very good one, honestly. But as we mentioned in the preview as well, like Diaz is a player that we also believe that if he gets a lot of game time as well, he can become more and more influential in the game. And honestly, you can even see that. I feel like there is a combination there that will exist between him and Jude. Actually, I kind of felt that today as well in little patches. So that's something that might be interesting to watch out for as well, honestly. But yeah, like I said, like I feel like it was a bit above average, but like it was nothing like fantastic or superficial or anything like that.
I always felt like Brahim has enough fight in him, enough technique in him to actually eventually get that good run of form. And today I think he showed glimpses of it. To be honest, he tried to at least force the issue more than on a couple of occasions, which I
think
really
Brahim,
like.
For me, with Brahim, the issue is never about his ability to get the good form. It's about maintaining that good form. I think he lacks consistency.
True.
When he's making substitute appearances, I don't really know how he gets into that rhythm. And the fact of the matter is, like, we're sort of like trying to use him like Asensio, because Asensio always came off the bench and scored that long ranger. I think Brahim doesn't really have that, so I'm really iffy about how Brahim fits into this team, especially because it feels like almost like for Ancelotti, he's not that important. And when a player is not important for Ancelotti, he's just gonna bin you.
He'll be on the fringes unless he has like a couple of blinder games, back to back. By which I mean he decides games by himself. At least two games in a row.
Like do something like Ceballos did last season.
Exactly.
Then he might probably get a shot.
To really turn Carlos' head.
The important thing is that we have to remain relevant till that point, because Ceballos got a chance while we were deep in the cup, deep in the UCL and all that. The question becomes, do we remain that relevant till that period of time? That's the question.
I'm gonna pray hard because that's the only way. Because we know the reality doesn't suit our odds very well. Sid was in the chat. He was saying, long term, it won't suffice. Jude is saving us, 100%. There's no other way of putting it. Ashik was saying, yes, Brahim had a good game, and I'd like to see him start and give him a run. He learned how to be a little feisty thanks to Serie A. that league takes prisoners 100%. I agree. Playing for Pioli's side has matured him up a lot more. But Jacob, man, Brahim, at least for me, he showed promising signs. Was it the same case with you?
Yeah, I feel like he was the only one, in the end, in the final third, like making a few good passes, taking the right decisions all the time. And apart from that, he always was looking like I felt like he had the most urgency on the pitch to actually get the ball moving again, not play into
True.
Getafe's bullshit, and just
Yeah,
try to get the goal.
quick free kicks and whatnot.
Yeah, and
was bang on point.
If he keeps doing that, he's gonna endear himself to the Bernabeu crowd, and that's gonna be better for him. Like as the season wears on, and he's gonna get more opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. Right. I think that pretty much covers it, man.
Oh yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Sid
Right, go on.
did mention. So Sid says people are not talking enough about Tchouameni. He has been good.
100%. The reason why we didn't do it because we decided not to go the player-by-player route this year. But Tchouameni, I mean this game, but Tchouameni, like we have been speaking about all throughout the season, has been one of our most consistent performers. Especially his ball progression is very underrated. Where he kind of turns up being the anchor when we need someone to do it the most. When people shy away from responsibility, especially in the defensive third, Tchouameni doesn't think twice. I feel like last year he was a bit more timid, but this year I think he's completely has embraced that particular aspect of the game. Right, like Mo, any thoughts?
Yeah, for me,
Tchouameni?
with Tchouameni, the feeling always will be the fact that I think he has more to offer, because whenever we see him play for France, he has the freedom to move forward and make passes
In the system, he doesn't.
Yeah, in the system he doesn't. So I think we are sacrificing some of what the best version of Tchouameni could be. But I think he's done a good job, like you said, about being more imposing in the final, like in the defensive third, which I think previously he wasn't doing. But at the end of the day, we will see when the big games come around how his performances are playing as a defensive midfielder, because I think the games where Casemiro really made his name were the big games. So we have to see what Tchouameni does in those games.
Literally every Real Madrid player, not against Almeria and Celta Vigo,
I didn't get that. What did Farouk mean?
No, he says
I'm
like,
completely lost.
Nothing. It's okay. So you should live blissfully in joy.
yeah.
Was it a dig at me?
No,
Because I need to know.
Dig at you.
You're just saying players who come in, and then all of these new players or these young players, they have to make their name in the big games, not just against Almeria and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Okay. Basically, I'm not gonna say the word. Again. Like
Yeah,
Mo said, this is the PG podcast.
Your reflective mirror. It was a dig.
Right. Fair. He's basically, hitting home his own point, which is actually true. I won't disagree with Farouk, but I live in that now. Take it game by game, and give people their due flowers, man. I hope the guys have a good couple of weeks of rest, in a sense. I don't know what rest our star players are going to get really. Rodrigo's going to go. Kamavinga's called up. Tchouameni is going to go. Jude obviously is going to go with England, and pretty much everybody. Is Joselu called up? Danny's called up, not Joselu, right?
Yeah.
Joselu is called up. And who's going to play?
It's called up.
Morata.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Morata does the job. I have no idea how. Don't ask me how, but I'm not a huge fan of Morata. But yeah, he has something about him that really,
I mean, if I'm being
gets
honest, I would
managers
have
to
taken
choose.
Morata this season, in this summer, at least or something.
Yeah, to have another option, 100%. Right. Who else is being called up? Kepa, no,
Fran isn't called up. Kepa has been called up. Alaba
Kepa's been
probably
called up.
Yeah, Kepa is second choice right now. So Alaba's probably getting called up for Austria. I don't really know that for sure. I'm not sure about
Modric still play for Croatia?
Yeah, Modric still played.
Yeah. Modric.
Tchouameni, Kamavinga are going. Valverde probably goes with Uruguay as well.
Cruz is not going, obviously.
Cruz retired.
Yeah, Cruz retired.
Right. Yeah. So not much rest, I guess, for many of the the focal points of our team. But yeah, Ashik was saying, guys, tomorrow Atleti versus Sevilla. Mariano Sevilla. Is Mariano at Sevilla now?
Yeah, he joined yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, how did I miss that? Probably because of his fucking hair, I couldn't
No,
see.
yeah.
But
You were busy following PSG Extra, waiting for them to show you the
Aye,
official
aye,
documents.
calma on the strays, yeah, because I
don't
didn't
sit in the
get that.
fields, Farooq. Don't sit in the fields.
I didn't get that one day after the transfer window fucking closed. Leave me out of this, okay? It was people like Mo who was getting fucking agitated by a man's stories. Like it wasn't me. I was saying I don't give a fuck.
I mean, the guy did not post anything all summer on his Instagram story. Right? The moment the window closes, this guy posts a story with balls and laughing and everything. So what do you expect? Like honestly, like I'll tell you, like everybody on internet has a conspiracy theory that this guy engineered everything. He did it to push out Neymar and Messi. He got them both out. He got his friends to come to PSG. He's just made the team the way he wanted to, and now he'll probably sign an extension. Leave Florentino hanging.
What
That's
a
all.
masterclass.
If that happens, like when you say it like that, man, it makes so much sense. I can't even have anything to argue to it.
Like we were having this conversation in May and June, and we're talking about like it's Mbappe or nothing for Florentino, and that is how it's turned out. We were afraid that we wouldn't sign anybody, and that's how it turned out. This was the worst case for us, and we are living it. And to top it all off, today Marca came out with a story that said the board is extremely satisfied with how the transfer window went. They didn't really like it went better than their expectations, and
They expected, exactly. Yeah, I saw that as well. I'm like, what the hell are these guys, smoking? Well, I mean, yesterday, like I read like there was a tweet from Fabrizio which was saying that like Real Madrid actually planned like tried to sign a striker, but the deal fell
when it
through.
comes to Real Madrid, I don't believe Fabrizio.
Yeah, Fabrizio doesn't have the ins, to be honest with us. But right, Ashik was saying, Sunet, you missed it again because you were following our new signing Mbappe. Yeah, you trolled me already over the Insta DMs, man. Come on, give me a break. Okay, give me a break. I see your fucking face every day. It's getting tiring, man, honestly. But Ashik saying 3 summers in a row we signed Mbappe. that's a good shout, man. But yeah, Sid is actually. He told me he's going for the Atleti versus Sevilla game, so he's gonna have hopefully a good game to watch, a good war to watch. At the Metropolitano. So yeah, I hope he comes back unscathed. Hope he doesn't wear a Madrid kit. He has already told me when he's gonna go to the Metropolitano to cover the games, he has to cover our logo and shit. I was like, man, is that mad? He said, yeah. It's not like what you expect. Nobody's gonna be showing any courtesy if they see anything that resembles a real logo. So yeah, I learn new stuff about Spain every day from him, but it is what it is. People in the chat, people listening in later, do show some love to our content from Madrid. It is actually done basically single-handedly by one of our very own guys. He has to basically do it all on his own. So show him some love. We're going to keep it coming. It's not easy. We are not an oil state-backed production house or anything. It's all of us.
We should make a podcast about Saudi Pro League. That's the way to go.
Really? I've seen guys on AFTV adopt a couple of Saudi teams to follow. So I don't know. I have an inclination towards Al Hilal. I'm not gonna lie, but Benzema playing at Al Ittihad, I'll have to back my man.
We all have to be Al Ittihad fans,
100%.
Sergio is gonna go there, Ramos, and then we'll be.
But I saw Mitrovic's goal, man. Mad finishes, man, bro. This guy. Whew. And that too against Bono. I mean, not Bono. Sorry.
Sponsored by the Saudi Pro League.
But yeah, 100%. Or Aramco, either one of those. But Benzema's finish was very neat. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that when they said it was a back heel. I thought
we might have needed that one today.
100%, man. If not for Jude, but yeah, show our content from Madrid some love, people, man. It is made to happen by some incredible sacrifices by
And you know,
all of
today,
us. Honestly,
today is like 10 years of Gareth Bale signing for Madrid. 10 years
yeah,
ago today.
I still
Bale
remember 16-year-old me going gaga. I still remember watching compilations, watching games of Spurs.
The only thing I remember from that signing is the fact that everybody was chanting, "Why did you sell Ozil?"
I do have that in my mind as well. I still remember that, but it was bittersweet. I'm not gonna lie. The Ozil shit did hurt, but man, Gareth Bale, I knew this guy was a monster, bro. Simple as. I knew he was gonna be so decisive. I didn't even have one iota of doubt in his ability to completely transform our whole fucking career, I mean season. But the way he rounded off the Champions League win and whatnot, truly spectacular. That's what I think, and tell some of my mates. When you watch Spurs when you watch Gareth Bale, prime Gareth Bale in Spurs, and then you compare it to Mbappe, and Bale was, in my opinion, 2 times the player. Am I wrong in that? Wrong in thinking that?
Nope.
Yeah, you're
Well,
wrong.
What?
I'm sorry, man. You're not just wrong, man. You're wrong. From here, the distance from here to
Guys,
the top
like-
of the whatever the. Come on, bro. I mean, I get what you're saying, Sinead. Honestly, like Bale was a beast. Well, man, Mbappe is the next big thing, man. Bale was never
don't know.
the next big thing.
Man, Bale, like,
Bale was a really, really fantastic
I think
player.
Bale relied a lot on his pace, and he had a
Exactly.
powerful shot. But I
Bale was a
think Mbappe
one-trick
has-
pony. Exactly.
Mbappe has like
Man,
he has a multifaceted
Bale
game.
can
He
like score
One
from
trick pony?
anywhere in the pitch, man. He can score. He can score free kicks.
Bro, you should watch his Spurs compilations. I think you will
Bro, I don't
actually
have to watch
appreciate.
the Spurs compilation. I was
But
watching Spurs.
Can
and
can
the
Mbappe
goals,
score some of
Harry
those goals that
Redknapp.
Gareth Bale used to score
Of
at
course he
Spurs? I
cannot
don't think so.
score,
I don't
Jeremy.
fucking think so.
Yeah, definitely he cannot score.
Man,
Definitely
Kylian
cannot
Mbappe
scored
scored hat tricks
agree.
in World Cup finals.
I
No, I
definitely
understand.
agree that he cannot
I
score them.
understand. All that is, very fucking cinematic. He has all the big moments. I get it. But Gareth
He
Bale at
has the
Spurs
big
was a
moments, he has
freak.
the small moments. He has all the moments, man. Come on. I
I
know
don't know.
Mbappe did not come, but we don't really have to do this. Like
No,
Mbappe has
I'm
the
just
potential to be an
saying
all-time
what
great.
I felt. This isn't something I felt after he completely shunned us. I just had this feeling when I was
Actually,
growing
the-
up.
The thing is, this like,
Stuff that I
understand what
saw
you're saying,
Bale do.
Like, even if you could recall, like I remember right clear in my head, the last goal scored for Spurs was against West Ham. It was like in the half
don't
of the
remember.
pitch, in between the cycle and the box. It was, I think 30 yards out or something like that. It was a phenomenal goal. Mbappe cannot score those kind of goals, but he doesn't need to score those kind of goals. This is the point.
that's a shit take, but anyway.
He doesn't need to score those kind of goals because the point is,
Why?
just like you asking me, like
There is no
can Messi
there's no
score the goals that
obligation to
Ronaldo
score
like that Ronaldo
brilliant
scored the
goals,
kind of
but
goals
you
that
got to
Messi scored?
appreciate.
No.
You got to appreciate when someone does that, right?
So the
I don't
That's
know.
what
point
I'm
is
saying.
this.
Like I'm
So the
saying,
point
he's
is
a
this.
beast, but
If
he's
somebody
not better
scores
than
long
Kylian
range goals,
Mbappe.
that does not mean that he's a better player than somebody who does not score long range goals.
I have the mental capacity to realize that, but I'm just telling you, for me, aesthetically, for me, a game changer, like what Jacob said, a guy who can score from anywhere is a big weapon to have, isn't it?
And Mbappe can score from anywhere too, man. Just because he hasn't scored like 50, 40-yard goals doesn't really mean that Mbappe can only score it from one position. He
I
can
don't
do
know.
it. He can score from anywhere. He can score
Maybe
inside
in the
space,
Farmers League. I'm
inside
talking
space.
about the Premier League, the toughest of them all.
I mean,
How
the
many goals did
Premier
Gareth Bale
League,
have in the Champions
we
League?
saw Haaland went to the farm, whatever.
Ashik is saying,
He scored 45
Ashik is
goals.
saying Bale is definitely a better golfer than Mbappe. No question there. Man, this guy.
I mean, because you play in the Premier League doesn't necessarily give you credit. Honestly, it's just something that the pompous English people have.
Bro,
just
playing
keep
for a Spurs
throwing
team,
around.
carrying
Man,
them, being a left
ignore
back
everything.
to
Look at
start
the
out.
records in the Champions League, right?
Well, okay, fair.
Mbappe
The
completely
records,
destroyed Barcelona, man.
stats, obviously,
Yeah,
man,
I mean,
Mbappe, bro,
and
I'm not
I
blind.
remember-
I'm just telling you.
Like while like Bale was with us,
Go on,
like,
Jacob.
at certain points he was better than Cristiano. So that means for something, right? Like I don't think Mbappe has
100%.
reached Cristiano's
I'm
level.
not denying that, Jacob. But what I'm just saying is like
Jacob, can you
Bale
repeat
is
what
a
you just
good
said?
player, but like Mbappe also is a better player. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're not trained like Bale is just a random, jackass player or shit like that. But the point is that at least for me, even in the eye test, honestly, like watching Kylian Mbappe is like watching, I don't know, with all due respect, Jesus walking on water, I mean, that's just how it is, man.
Okay.
No, I'll just say this to end this thing. I think Bale had pace, Bale has strength. What Mbappe has
Technique
is
as well.
Mbappe has technique as well.
Exactly.
Bale had tremendous technique. Tremendous technique.
Okay,
Please
if
put
Bale
some
has 80
respect.
technique, Mbappe has 100 technique. Okay.
Okay, 20 difference, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Give or take. Okay, fuck that. Okay. I'm getting tired of this shit, but yeah, both brilliant players. But I agree, Mbappe is the tier above. But for me, I don't know. I just have this inclination towards Gareth Bale. Maybe it's nostalgia.
No, Fred,
Maybe it's
that's a
nostalgia.
completely valid point to say that you love Gareth Bale more than you love Mbappe, or you like his play style more than you like Mbappe. That's a completely valid take.
I mean, that's the thing as well, everyone loves what they have, not what they don't have, If I can get something, I will try
Oh
to
my
shun it down.
God.
I never liked it in the first place, Yeah, it was just, something that was a bit interesting, but it was never the thing that was,
Telling you, his transfer decisions or his business decisions, to assemble his own Avengers and all that and stay at fucking PSG, that didn't influence
Farouk, a
my.
documentary is incoming, like you wanted from Mbappe.
What
God,
documentary? Oh,
I really pray that, Newcastle, Dortmund, and Milan can do something and knock them out to the Europa League. Holy
that'll be mad, especially if they face against Liverpool. Oof, nice. I'll just love that, man. Honestly, that'll
I
be.
don't
man,
think
the point
I
is,
don't think Paris is getting knocked out. They have a pretty good team.
obviously, yeah, definitely. But the point is, to watch Paris playing Mitterland or whatever the name of the club is, clubs that have no name in countries that don't exist and stadiums that with nobody.
Farouk,
Imagine
we
that.
have listeners there. You should be careful.
Listeners from where? From France? What was he saying? From France?
No, he wasn't talking about France.
The
Yeah, I'm
Europa
just
League
talking
teams,
about,
man.
like
He was talking about the
some
Scandinavian
random,
countries.
exactly, Denmark actually, to be precise. But
Oh,
anyways.
okay. We do have a considerable audience base from the Scandinavian
When
countries,
Stuart
man. So
Robson can say that La Liga players don't waste time, you can make an effort too.
fair. Jacob is so quiet, he's letting you guys get all the clickbaity shit and stay out of the mess,
Then he's going to review behind the scenes stuff. So
Right. Guys, friendly reminder again. Do vote for us on the Football Content Awards for 2023. It'll be a massive step in the next journey for us. Basically, it'll get us some well-deserved. I personally believe well-deserved recognition because this hasn't been easy. We have been doing this for over 2 years now. It is a collective effort of over 10 plus people from so many different time zones coming together for the love of the game and love of our beloved Madrid. So do show some love. If you don't have Instagram, to send those to people who doesn't have social media as well. It's so simple. Go over to the international categories and type in our name. Let's Be Real podcast. It's super easy. I also feel like the Football Content Awards are gonna show some heavy bias towards some British origin guys more than us, because I can see some pretty evident telling factors that I've noticed over the last year as well. So we are going to need every single one of your vote to actually even stand a chance at this point. So it is a humble request again, people. Also, much love to all the people who sends us DMs in the chat, reminding us we are accompanying them on hikes, on gym reps, on morning jogs, all of that, man. It's super humbling to hear all that. Honestly, when I started this, I didn't expect even a single DM like that ever. So to have received all of that in the space of a couple of years, it is truly maddening, and I have to really pinch myself sometimes to understand what we really do is special. Big up to every single one of you in the chat who has tuned in, Rajat, Ashik. We miss a few of the regulars. Hopefully, I think Jude has completely blown them away, and knocked them out. And I hope to see, guys like Lol and guys of you back in the chat. People always ask me, we have an audience base of 500 600 plus people tuning in every week on our audio platforms. Why don't they tune into our YouTube live streams. I tell them, we started off as a podcast, and we still are a podcast. Continuing to maintain our identity and doing what we know best instead of doing what clickbaity people want to do. That's not our we are not about that life. We concentrate on talking football more than clown antiques. And probably that's why the YouTube folk hasn't really gotten over to here. But yeah, man, our audience basically are people who prefer listening to us on the go, and yeah, being up and about on their daily lives, which is, in my humble opinion, uh, has much more value for me rather than people flocking in to hear outrageous takes with no substance. But it is what it is. Big up every single one of you in the chat again, and it truly means a lot. Also, before we go, do show some love to our partners on on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant fan page. Show some love to Twitter as well. We have been verified as of yesterday. We are constantly trying to put out stuff from Madrid, and kind of get the tweeting up on a regular basis. We have a proper admin now. I completely neglected that for a couple of years. I'm seething because of that, but we are slowly trying to get ourselves back into the the X or the Twitter game as well. So yeah, man, do show some love. ZMAP is in the chat, always showing love on Instagram. Big up yourselves, man. And also, you asked me for my PSN the other day. I saw your follow request or something. I'm going to DM you my PSN. Hopefully we link up once EA FC 24 is out. He says, big up you guys for being Madrid content creators. It's actually humbling, man, honestly. Truly humbling. But until next time, people, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Madrid.